you shall be their fortress. You are our refugee. Tinokumbira kuti zvichapangwa muno baba zvive neumwe zvive zvinoendesa baba maresidence kumberi atinova takaunganira muno tigoronga basa ravo rigova nekuvirikidzwa nemweya mutsvene kuti basa rigooneka rinoitwa baba nenyanzvi dzamakasarudza kuti dzigomirira vanhu. Baba hatina izivo, hatina ichatinogona, tikange takaverenga mabhuku asi tinokumbira umhare unobva kumusoro kudenga panguva ino namata nokutenda mukati mezita renyu rinonzi Jesu. Amen.
Excellency the Honorable Emerson Mnangagwa, which statutory instrument simply puts a commission of inquiry into matter of local governance by Harare City Council. The commission speaks for itself in terms of the mandate. It was done in terms of the Commissions of Inquiry Act, Chapter 10 of 07, where if the President may so consider and deems it advisable, can issue a proclamation to inquire into any matter which, in the opinion of the President, is in the interest of public welfare. So the President did so deem that an inquiry into the matters of Harare will be in the interest of public welfare. The inquiry's terms of reference are as stated in the proclamation. It begins its inquiry on matters relating from 2017 to date. They were appointed a chairperson who is retired Justice Matthews Chenda, who will be the chairperson of the commission. It was set in quick reference to investigate financial management systems and audit compliance with the Public Finance Management Act, to investigate reasons behind the failure to operate an enterprise resource planning system for Harare City Council, and quantify any losses accruing as a result. To investigate and ascertain the procedure of management, sell or lease or transfer of local authorities properties to private entities, to probe and investigate convening of council meetings as well as adherence to the standing orders and rules in council meetings by Harare City Council, to investigate compliance with procurement laws, inclusive of disposal of assets and compliance with the Public Procurement and Disposal of Public Assets Act, Chapter 22.23, to conduct visitations when necessary, summon witnesses, record proceedings, minute testimonies, documents, consider and manage all information gathered in order to arrive at appropriate findings and recommendations to the President. To investigate any other matter which the Commission of Inquiry may deem appropriate and relevant to the inquiry. To report to the President in writing the result of the inquiry. Direct that the inquiry may be held in public or private as the exigencies of the inquiry may determine. Appoint the commissioners listed in the schedule or schedule. The commission is to run for a period of 6 months, which can be extended to 9 months. So from 2017, that's a lot of work. I think some of us were not yet councillors. In 2017, we only came in 2018, roundabout, and then some of you have joined us in 2023. So it's got volumes of work to be done. What it means is that they will be inquiring, they will require documentations. We as a council have noted the appointment of the commission, and we also see that the questions that are being asked are questions that we also asked either in our private capacities before we became councillors or in this chamber when we become councillors. So any process that answers or can give answers to some of these questions is welcome development. We have nothing to hide. We are a public entity. We are a council of record, and we are appointed by voters to enter into public office. And this is exactly what public office means. It means that you can be inquired into your works by commission. You can be inquired town clerk, the chamber secretary, be in the process of preparing the relevant documentation should the official communication come to us. But a statutory instrument, once proclaimed, is law. It has been so communicated by being gazetted in the government gazette. So we have received the communication, so we will act as if we have received the communication just as much as the rest of the country it is. So it is up for us to prepare. I'm sure in due course, the chairperson of the commission and the commissioners and the secretariat, which happens to be the permanent secretary of local government, will then do the communications once they've done the preparatory work. But we encourage that we be candid in our communications, open in our communications, and because there are consequences that come with not cooperating with commissions of this nature, and some of the consequences can end up being criminal or labor related. But there we are. Some of the questions are questions that we've been asking, and they have caught the attention of a person no less than the president of the nation himself. So if people did not understand, if people did not understand the importance of the work that we do as councillors, I'm sure now you can understand why it's important for us to do our work diligently, why it is important for us to manage the affairs of Harare with fiduciary attention. In other words, utmost good faith, as it were, and in the best interest of the residents, because our activities can at any time be examined, and it means even retired councillors and so forth can end up being called to also testify around activities that they did, resigning or fired, or and so forth and so forth. You'll end up coming up. But look, this is the nature of public office. You appear before inquiries, you appear before even your own colleagues to be inquired as to what and how you conducted yourself. So I thought that it was important for us to explain the mandate of the commission, and once it does its job, it gives its report to the president, who in terms of the act can choose to make those findings public or keep them to himself, or publish parts of it, or act on the whole document, or act on parts of it, or decide not to act if it is in the interest of public welfare. I do believe that the powers are contained, but I'm sure we will get a proper report and a briefing in our next meeting from the town clerk and the chamber secretary as to the exact meaning of the commission of inquiry. Some of us have appeared before these commissions of inquiry in other heads that we wear as politicians and so forth and so forth. So I think that is where we are with that issue. I think it was important to address and to emphasize that as council, we are ready and we've always been ready to be inquired into by the residents and by the president or the commission, and we will cooperate fully if it will help the residents of Harare to get a better service from us. And we do understand that the commission is very technical in its brief and will not stray into other issues that are not contained in its mandate, and so forth. So that's it. The second communications are to relating to, we had a meeting with complex cooperation executives together with the City of Harare officials on Tuesday, the 12th of March. The meeting touched on the supply and payment of chemicals. Complex is one of our major suppliers of liquid aluminium sulfate. mixes it. It's made up of lime, liquid lime, bauxite, and sulfuric acid. They mix it. So the problem is that it imports all these components that I mentioned. They import bauxite from Mozambique, lime from Zambia, sulfuric acid from South Africa. Therefore, they require foreign currency from us, or they require time as payment for them to be able to get foreign currency from the reserve bank. So we had fallen behind with our payments. We were owing a debt of almost close to $2 million US, and we came up with a program to then reduce that debt. They were then failing to import these other chemicals. We are their biggest customer, giving them 80% demand, and I do hope we'll get a report from the EMC when that reports to say, and the Finance Committee to say whether we are able or we've been able to come up with a payment plan. I do understand that now we are having challenges with chlorine gas. We are not getting enough cylinders for us to be able to supply the required quantities per day, and I do hope that that issue was touched on in the environmental report. They are increasing WhatsApp messages and Twitter messages for some of us who are highly visible in the nation. People are complaining about the water supply and the days that it is coming. And I'm made to understand by the acting director of water, that we are having challenges with the payment towards chlorine gas. And we are getting less cylinders for us to be able to deal with that. So I hope that is detached and the payment method is brought. We met with the Namibian delegation on the 13th of March 2024 to discuss resuscitation of the Harare window twinning arrangement. The Namibian delegation was comprised of the Namibian ambassador, City of Vindo, CEO, and their strategy and organizational performance contract. I think that speaks to itself. We need to resuscitate our twinning government. The former Minister of Local Government and Public Works, Honorable Winston Chitando, in an engagement with the Harare City Councillors and officials, the meeting was held on the 27th of March 2024. He has since gone back to the Ministry of Mines. We wish him well and congratulate him on his new appointment. And we did say that we worked very well with the minister. He did not suspend anyone during the time that he was minister. So I'm sure we can say we remember him fondly, isn't it? As he did not cause us much distress. He had come to discuss our budget, and the only probably thing we might not remember him fondly for is not allowing our budget to pass through. But he did give his reasons, justified them personally, and went through them point by point and in detailed format. I did not get a sense that people resisted his points vigorously, and therefore we can come to a conclusion that the reasons had some merit, and we proceeded to deal with them. We want to congratulate the new minister, Minister Garo, who has been appointed to the Ministry of Local Government, and we do hope that we work well together. I've had the opportunity to meet him twice or thrice on official engagements, and I must say we have had very good discussions, and like the councillor who was contributing, he seems eager to work and to get on with the job in his newness, and local government issues are not new to him since he was in the Ministry of Housing. So we congratulate him was that of a whip and a whip handler. But the judiciary services have got a bouquet of things that they offer beyond just criminalizing us or other people. They also do civil arrangements. They deal with the efforts. You can see now the chiefs are trying to step in the void. If you are on TikTok, you will see that chiefs are busy dealing with issues of who has taken this wife and so forth, and so forth, and try to fill a void that has to be filled by the judiciary. So we need to bring the judiciary closer, and we have agreed to give them a piece of land in Mavugu, which they are going to build a massive court, and we are willing to bring them to Highfields and Varasekwa and Budiliro. So we had a very good meeting. Attended the Kralo Voice Dialogue in non-approval of the city. Attended the Triple Heroes Burial at the National Heroes Acre on the 29th of April 2024. May their souls rest in peace. There were triple burials at the Heroes Acre. Had a meeting with the Cuban ambassador, Her Excellency Madam Linares, on 7th May 2024 to discuss the preservation of the monument for the late Cuban President Fidel Castro, which was erected along Fidel Castro Road, formerly Charter Road. Now, I've been there, it's now very clean, the place, but I think the roundabout is just ugly, isn't it? So, I don't know the director of who is in charge of our roundabout. I mean, Fidel Castro is a very important person. Some of us who were students, we are socialists, Marxists in leaning. We do understand the importance of Fidel Castro in shaping the narrative of liberation and in shaping the narrative of independence and the narratives of our belief system in terms of the workers' revolution and the students' revolution, and the ability of the transformative nature of the state towards its citizens, and the contribution that they made towards the preservation of Angola, the preservation of the contribution to providing guns. Thereafter, they did teachers. Some of us were taught by teachers from Cuba, biology, English, other science, mathematics, and other science subjects. A platoon of teachers were sent after independence, and they were situated in rural schools and so forth, and other schools to fill the gap of the teaching. And then they've made serious advancements in terms of medical. They have got 12 specialists situated in Zimbabwe dealing with the surgery and so forth. And we discussed them also coming to hold clinics, free clinics, once a month, once we've spoken to the Ministry of Health, these are gynecologists, and so forth and so forth. So it's a very useful country to us, and we can benefit in terms of the health and our residents. So we need to really make sure that we take care, we redesign that roundabout, and we take care of the roundabout and talk to the businesses around it and make sure that it is a befitting tribute to Fidel Castro. Him and Che Guevara are very important figures in terms of the liberation of Latin America, what we call South America, Cuba itself, and Africa in general. So we need that sorted out, please. We have a responsible for that. The former charter, is it director voice? And as town planning, the planning chairperson, please make sure that we have a better design and so forth. The place. I saw the night thing. Then on the 9th of May 2024, Vice President Kempo Mahadi toured Faro Stadium. The Vice President was accompanied by various ministers and government members. We promised that Rufaro would has earned a bit of money during the time it has been open, and we would want the sports committee to deal with the management of those amounts. We wanted the money to be used to continue with the repairs so that the stadium can start repairing itself. And also we had a letter from Dynamo's Football Club, from Caps United, from the Rentals Football Club, asking to lease the stadium for their Premier League games. So please let those leases must be concluded. The relevant committee, being the sports committee and the finance committee, and management be set up around the stadium so that it is sustainable. But the president and the government delegate, the vice president and the government delegation were impressed to the extent that they offered to assist us in purchasing the bucket seats, and they asked us to send them a budget, which later I think has already been written by the town clerk asking for budgetary support. We are closer to bringing the national team to Harare and the Champions League matches to Harare. What we want to do is to create a stadium where the Champions League, when it starts in August, for the two teams that are represented, they will be able to put Rufaro Stadium as a stadium that other teams from other countries can play. And the national team will be playing in Rufaro Stadium before the year ends. Should we get the relevant support from government and also restructure the way we are managing the stadium. But we are happy and we're delighted that everybody is now coming on board and they are understanding this council's previous position when it preserved that stadium. That stadium is the stadium where the Union Jack was lowered and the Zimbabwe flag was raised. And we gave the Union Jack back to Prince Charles. The Union Jack is the official flag for the British country. We gave it to Prince Charles at Rufaro Stadium. So therefore, if you cannot take care of a place where you were given your country, you probably are unable to take care of the rest of the country. So therefore, we are taking care of Rufaro Stadium because of its historical significance, and not only because it is the game of soccer. It was also the stadium where Bob Marley played to our freedom. And it is appearing in the documentary, one of the most grossing documentaries in the world. Now film documentary is the film of Bob Marley, which was released early this year. And yes, it is also where we launched the party, the MDC, where Morgan Changirai, may his soul rest in peace, launched this glorious movement, which has made us become mayors. There was some who tried to take that up. That's what I'm So that is why it is a significant stadium, and that's why we have to keep it. We were accompanied, we met on 9th of May together with myself together with council officials, met Emma and the Emma executive, the Emma board chairperson, the ambassador. The meeting sought to chart a way forward with Emma and the city of Harare. And I think we should take that meeting seriously. We promised Emma that we would have a roadmap towards waste management in Harare, both liquid and solid. It's a very serious meeting, and I think that they did that meeting because they got a vast array of ways of dealing with an errant organization around waste. And if they feel we are not making enough progress, they will cause a board to be done here at the city council, and will be made to give presentation to that board, the Emma, and they will then come up with resolutions that may not be so pleasing. So we promise that we'll give them a roadmap towards waste management and come up with a way of funding waste management progress of the things that we have to do for SADC. I don't know, let's have a standing report that will come. We might need to call a special council on that issue of our SADC preparations. I saw an article accusing us of having used money for traffic lights on other things. So we met the Vice President with about 5 ministers, and we spoke about the issues that are relating to the city, issue of the roads, the buildings, and many other issues. There is a Harare Municipality Building Act, the maintenance of Harare Municipality Building Act, which I'm seeing in the Gazette was moved to Ministry of Housing from local government. We should have a collection of all the laws, and I said this before. Let's have a collection of all the hygiene laws and other laws that we are using to deal with the maintenance of Harare buildings. And then let's have a tripartite enforcement and give some powers to the city parking people, our cleaners, and everyone whom we have in the streets, so that this thing can be enforced vigorously. So they are very serious about the issue of the city being clean during the SADC summit. And we are also very serious about it, I do assert. And we want the traffic lights to be working, we want the roads to be better, and our buildings to be spruced up. They did promise when we mentioned that we needed a new asphalt plant and a new crusher plant. Like the other Vice President, the Vice President promised to take that issue to Cabinet, and indeed a visit was done by the Permanent Secretary of Transport outside that meeting, so that we could buy we can retool our quarry, get a new tar making equipment, and get an asphalt plant. We need that because we cannot contract on a continuous basis the maintenance of Harare roads. So that's where we are with the promises, and they promised to assist us in relation to the buildings, in relation to the roads, and in relation to the purchasing of that equipment. And that's why a team was sent so that we can purchase the equipment to retool our quarry. So these are the reasons. So when you see pictures of me, the Vice President, and the other Vice President, and the President, we are talking business. I'm not selling out. Kuti city iwane maresources, city iwane mutemo kuti tikwanise kuenda mberi nekudhiliva zviri kudiwa nemaresidents, nokuti vakagara pamaresources, isusu tiri kuda maresources iwawo. So zvinhu zviri critical kuti tinge tichikwanisa kutaura navo. Kana pane vanenge vachida kuuyawo pamiti, unongotaura toenda tese tondotenda. It's not a problem, asizve zviri attended Delta Corporation 64th Tangan Race Course on the 11th of May 2024 at the Borodo Race Course. It was a beautiful event. As you know, the race course is part of our the things that we sold to the MTC. The MTC have title deeds to the race course, but the title deeds are conditional on them keeping racing. So they have a huge and a clear relationship with the city of Harare. We are engaged with discussions with the MTC to make that place better and to look at the conditions that we give them so that we can allow them to have more commercial activities there and allow them to do a bit of issues and also to deal with the legal issues that have arisen from our relationship. So I think the negotiations have reached a very advanced stage, and there will be announcements that will be made and improvements that will be done to the road, the race course, and the way Monday, 13th May to 2024 at Hyatt Regency Hotel. So the hotel is quite impressive. It's a huge investment. The person who has purchased People's Hotel has got a lot of money, and that is an understatement. And he's a huge investor. He's got hotels from Ethiopia right down to Cape Town and Dubai. And he says he's willing to partner the council to set up a foundation where some of the things that are being made in the hotel can be made by the handicapped and so forth. So we promised him that we will enter into those discussions. But they've invested a lot of money and are willing to invest more. He says most of his hotels in South Africa and Dubai employ a huge number of Zimbabweans, and therefore he's going to be using that hotel to employ many more. Lastly, we had a meeting with the CMED executive on the issue of electrical cars. They gave us an electrical car to test. It's very sweet. When you sit in that electrical car, you don't know fuel, you don't know oil. All you know is you press a button and the car starts moving. It moves at 200, maximum speed is 250 kilometers per hour, reaches 550 kilometers in terms of distance, and they need to refuel. All you do is to put it at night. There are charge stations that can charge it for 30 minutes, it will be full, or 1 hour, and so forth. So I think it is the way to go. We need electrical vehicles. We need to look at the issue of electrical compactors. Some companies, after our press conference, I've had 5 companies make presentations, and some have sent specifications of electrical compactors, others of electrical vehicles. I think we need vans. Our inspectors must be on electrical motorbikes. Our repair people who answer calls for sewages must get electrical vans, so that this issue of fuel, we stop relying on it, because fuel has been the major drawback in our service delivery issues. So we are going to enter, we'll ask the business committee, to do a memorandum of understanding with CMED. CMED is buying 100 buses and more vehicles, and we need to be part of the people in that program to get those buses so that we can move people using electrical vehicles, so to speak. So that is where we are in relation to communications, and I do hope that the relevant committees will take up the issues we discussed in the minutes and in the communications going forward. So are there any issues arising from communications? Very quickly, we wanted to finish this meeting very fast. All right, I'm advised that ordinarily the communications, it is me communicating, and they are usually not debated. We allow a small debate if there is something of importance, but seeing no raising hands, it looks like we are agreed to the issues that are in the communications and the way forward in relation to the communications. So we can move on to the report of committee.
Thank you, Chief. Now move to item 6 of our agenda, which is reports of committees. We'll start with Annexure E, Environmental Management Committee, WASH. Met 4 times. Councillor Cecilia report and move on all the courses dated 17 April, 23 April, 2 May, 8 May.
Your Worship, before I report and move, I would like to report a case that is happening within the committees. Usually, I know minutes can be paraphrased to not to catch them verbatim, but the exact things that we are saying in the committee are not being captured as they are supposed to be captured, and the resolutions are not coming out they then had to be written at once. The second issue is, before I reported move, is the pick and choose within the committee of the reports that are supposed to be written by the relevant departments. The director of water the last time did not report or write a report on the fact that there was a presentation that was made by a group that is interested in giving us water upfront for 3 months without paying money. They also did report the journey that we took to go to Moto Jeffrey, the findings that they did, that group in the lab. So I feel like there's a pick and choose. So otherwise everything that is written in the minutes, I have verified, I've read. There's also a tendency of bringing reports. When we say we want to sit, they bring reports sometimes that are from maybe 2021 because they assume that some of us don't read. We read and we know that this was in 2021, this was in 2022. That the time we actually had to give back a report on service delivery, which I caught that was 3 March 2021. So that laziness, Mayor, I thought I should bring it to your attention, but otherwise I have read all the reports and I reported more after this complaint. Thank you very much.
That's fine. Yes, the chairperson, you are entitled to discuss the reports that you want to come to the committee with the relevant directors that work under your committees, and you are also empowered as the committee to cause a report to be brought and to give the timeline that you want the report to be. So it's important also to report those requests within the committee.
May I also add that we have done what you have said. There's an instance where we asked a comprehensive report on the nanotech, on what happened to nanotech. The first time they came and they said they had the report. Engineer Mabena Moyo, to be specific, he said he dropped the paper somewhere, but he had it in the town clerk's office. And everyone in the committee looked like a fool because he was playing us for kids. The next time he came again and he said, I actually had the report, I think I left it in the office. The next time when we sat again, they said the report did not have the town clerk's signature. And finally when it had the town clerk's signature, it was not a comprehensive report. It was what it was when they were convincing whoever they were convincing at the time before we were in council. So we have sought that, we have done that. When you see us standing and complaining about it, it means we have exhausted all the remedies.
These are issues of equality. They are not issues that was to be discussed.
Yeah, that's why I was saying.
That's why I'm saying I think in my landed candidate that they're supposed to report and move so that we can discuss issues which are. So these are issues that can be dealt with in committee level. Thank you.
Mayor, I'm saying at committee level this we have done. The fact that I'm reporting is because maybe I have failed. That's what I'm saying right here, right now. We have done that. I've asked for numerous times for those reports. They don't come. I've asked numerous times for laziness to go and not to bring us reports that are backdated. That has not happened. So I know this is a matter of committee, Councillor Mapashe. I'm reporting it here to bring it to the
That's
attention.
fine. I think let's not have a debate on that issue. I've allowed her to give that opening remarks. And we have got new councillors and we've got new chairperson. So it's a learning curve for some. In answering her, we are able to answer everyone. Yes, it's an issue of the committee. If there are issues of laziness or lack of compliance with duty, the issues can be referred to the HR committee so that the HR committee can then deal with those specific issues. So when as committees you come across things that but that's why I was important that you put it on record in your committee, so that when you refer the issue to HR, it has got all its record. But the powers that we have is that a committee can call anything, or you can adjourn. It doesn't mean a committee can end that same day. A committee meeting is not a deadline. Unless the necessary reports are not there, it can be adjourned to tomorrow so that the necessary report can be brought. But if that then keeps repeating itself, you are then entitled to take it to HR, where they will then deal with the malfeasance, should it be. But we want those issues we want committees to be useful to the chairperson.
Thank you.
So we move to the minutes dated 4 April 2024. Resolutions 1 to 7 are before council. Minutes dated 17. Resolutions 1 to 7. There are no issues, recommendation under item 8. 17 April.
Thank you, Worship. I'm on item 7. Is a member of the report for the February 2024. I think somewhere in the minutes, it is stated that the director of the health services advised that hotspot areas for cholera were Kwazana, Varesekwa, Kambuzuma, Program, Bulilo, Glenview, and Wobbly. Your Worship, this was on the 17th, but for the past 2 weeks, these areas have no water. The director of the health reported that these are hotspots for cholera. And unfortunately, we cannot provide water to these people for the past 2 weeks. And it's now a crisis in this water. So I'm appealing to you, Your Worship, and the council, that we urgently move to supply water to this area. In effort to get in touch with the water distribution manager, we're fruitless. And I happened to check with the director of finance, and he highlighted that there were discussions that were happening, and tomorrow, which is Wednesday, there's going to be a meeting. However, my fear is, Your Worship, as highlighted by my fellow councillor, I think there's no urgency in how we are dealing with this issue. It seems people are not moved when there's no water on the tanks. People are not even moved when there's no truck that's going to collect the garbage. So I'm appealing that this matter be treated as an agent so that water is resuscitated and supplied to this area.
Yes. Any other issues? Yes.
Thank you very much, Your Worship. I'll be looking at item number 4 on the minutes dated 17 April. And it's talking about a detailed report. I remember when we came to, I think it's the council that we held in March, we talked again about the water issue. Where I come from is now 3 weeks without water. But these minutes, they are talking of a report from Nanotech. I'm taking 17 April. You go again, you find there is a presentation that was done in the same minutes that are talking of by the group called the Acumen Group. And I remember in that meeting that we had as council, when it was said that after I go through this report, when it was said that they are willing to provide the solution to us first before we pay, then the major problem now is, it seems as though those charged with the power to give us water, they are not willing to give us water. You'd also find that it is said that the director of water said, we cannot engage anyone else at the moment to give us water solutions besides Nanotech before we do away with Nanotech. But I thought Moto Jeffrey or whatever lecturer Yakati if you can have another player would like this presentation that was done, who can give us water for 3 months before we even pay $1. The Nanotech gave them 1.1 million. My ward has got 3 weeks without water, Your Worship. It means that is somewhere, somehow, someone in the authorities of power at management level doesn't want this council to succeed. So, I am saying, in light of the presentation that was done, which is in the minutes, what is told those people to just go and try their things for the next 3 months, then my word gets water. Can I go to the garden and flush some toilet if we think the water is dirty? So, Your Worship, it is high time we deal with the people who don't want us to get water. If you go through the minutes, and now that was combined, but I think that aims to have 2 men, they will see again, they did not bring the report. That was needed. Thank you very much, Your Worship.
Thank you, Your Worship. As much as we also want water for the city of Harare, we must also be very careful when we are dealing with the presentations here. What surprises me is that the same guy who came here, our secretary, is presenting to us as nanotech. Is the same person who is also coming here to present also as API. So it's not proper. We need to be seen doing things in the right sense and be very careful. These are the same people who are just taking faces. So I think this issue we need to be very diligently assessing before we even be able to accept other people. But we need water. There's no question about water. Water is needed. It's like needed of yesterday. So it's important that also we need to be very careful when we are dealing with the people who are coming here. It's like they're coming just for money. It's not for the service. We are very much concerned about water, but we need to be careful when dealing with these people. Thank you. I'm in charge of those. Already we are able to cancel. And these things are supposed to
That's fine, that's fine. I think let's not.
It's okay now.
Let's relax. The issue is if I heard the chairman Duma and the chairman I know your first name, chairperson, the first name. Now what I heard was that there's someone who is doing it for free. So I don't know how people can argue. Somebody says, I want to do this thing for you for free. It changes the whole argument. If they can, they can. If they can't, they what? They can't. So we don't really need to. If somebody says, I've got something, I can do it for this period of time. Yes.
I have no problem with what you're saying. My challenge is the project today for Alexandra that the same person who presented the management is coming with a different name. If no matter is coming to try and bring something for free, we must deal with the issue that the good man under the name narrative. Because I understand that they will be asking to do some activities of the mandate to do, which they failed to do. So these are not the plans. So you can say the same person comes here and says, now we want to give you for free, yet the man. We need to deal with the point that is the same person who came out of the same person is coming out of the name. So as much as we know that water is very important, we all have problems, residents, where we're coming from about water issues. But we need, because I've come to understand that people have experience of things that there is a lot of planning councils. They come and make some previous presentation and they are impressed by that. Then we give them the opportunity to do whatever they want to do. At the end of the day, they don't deliver. They will continue to be at the same place all the time. So
no, I get it. they are saying was not part of that committee. And sometimes when we are chairing, if he was not part of that committee, the presentation has not been made here. We cannot comment on it secondarily as if it's a statement of fact. It is, he was not there in that committee.
The point is meant to worship that.
Yes. No,
They must be clarified in this country.
Yes.
Look, the
danger is of saying certain things, and we are chairing, is that you then defame people unknowingly on fact that you are not secondary. This is how things then spill about.
I understand what you're saying. What I'm saying is that you have the formal dismissed that you want to come up.
Yes, but I was saying, before you get, subjective, explaining people as groups, and so forth and so forth, or something that you get from another person. The people will take issue with what you are saying. And then at the end of the day, you then say, no, I want us to keep our comments on the fact that we have, not on hearsay. Was he part of the committee that the presentation was made? Were you in that committee? You were not there.
But I think that.
How did you know that?
No, wait. So if you were not there, then there's a way that we can then ask those questions leading to the same thing. You can't say to a meeting that you were not there of your fellow chairperson that they were listening to the same person. In a meeting, you were not there. Now the problem we are having is that another chairperson is now standing up, carrying on to what you say as if it's a fact on something that you were not present.
Yeah,
You understand?
Don't confuse my point also. I want, if Councillor say it's not fair there, let it be formal dismissed.
Okay, so that's fine. So
let it be formal.
That's clear. He himself has said he was not there when that presentation was made. He was not there. So how are you able to take it as fact?
My point is, even if he was not there, he is able to do that.
Can you please sit down? No, you will get He was not there. So you cannot continue the debate as if you
when now came in as president, there is no worship. To be honest, I still never everything I was to share no museum. But there was a tour guy in Tumso. And the one part of the obvious one was an passage. Our Tangan, but I think at 2022.
2022.
I don't 2022, but two months ago, now by 2022. And the issue when they would issue, from this report, Tagaruza, Takawapa 1.2 million US. But not then the personal comment, the council. Could you pay my picture? So the home picture 180,000. 189,000 USD. Meaning put it almost 1.something million USD. I now been I still didn't miss it. I said now what in Pano over my man almost 3 years.
Yes.
But now catch what. Then I'm not going to today in this meeting. What I am Murumewa Akawaya Kamiran Kibra. Ndiye mwetete akadini akatoka name it cover. My question is that fish was the name of a man. You know, a man look here, but what can you do? We cannot conclude indeed. But what can we do, in my view, is to push the issue by investigation.
company directors. So after they come on, they have committees, principal representation. So that the company doesn't mean one of the car. What you can also do to make a new over, which are Varakazu Banana project. It is better we blacklist them. We might not have powers to go blacklist them, but even go up with the company E, my directors are, Bakapia Council Pakato, to our Facebook tweet, and they got really not even for their future project. But what you cannot do your worship is to brush an allegation in for a marriage. Yeah, come on. So that's my contribution. Then my other issue, your worship, my other issue,
yeah,
no,
is it on the same issue? If it's on,
I don't know.
Yes, so wait, sit down. Let's manage. Part of the things is that are we doing council proper, council proceedings proper?
Yes.
Let me just sit down, please. Thank you. You see, let's move carefully in these things. In everything that we agree to, there's always a due diligence process. The due diligence process is done when we enter a memorandum of understanding with the individual. So what we want to avoid is to give it a sense that people just stand up and make an allegation, and then there is a coordinated orchestra that then choirs that allegation. On a thing where the person who makes the allegation clearly says I was not there and I was not in the meeting, then other people, because maybe they needed to comment on that issue anyway, they then proceed to make lengthy presentation on something where the originator of the statement says I was not there, and then we then make accusations, statements, and so forth. We will get to an area that is not our area. There's always a due diligence and there's committee issues. And if our procedures allow, that's why we give everyone an agenda. That if in a committee there are issues that you also think you can cause the chairperson to what? To invite you. So that when it comes here, we will discuss the issues that pertaining to that issue properly and formally. There was always a due diligence stage when we start dealing with somebody. And that due diligence stage comes if somebody comes to you and says we are going to do this and do that and do that. You do a memorandum of understanding. And now even all the agreements that we do, they are now being taken to ZIDA.
Yeah.
Yes, they are now being taken to ZIDA. ZIDA has got a process that it looks and it also does due diligence in that scope. So I think let's get, because the problem, the other issues, this is a situation where things can just turn outside and we don't have the facts. The issue in Iponyo we have the water crisis, and we've got some companies who are saying that look, can you talk to the city of Harare to assist them? And what happens with some of the things here in the city of Harare, things that work elsewhere, for some reason are said not to work in the city of Harare. And we are immediately, the ERP is a case in point, the ERP service provider. Something that is working in Blauai and in Zeno or whatever it is you are being told for some reason that it can work for the city of Harare. So let's move appropriately. We have got the report that was made, and the due diligence will be done if it then reflects what a councillor is saying, and due diligence actually can review many other things. Then the council will be alerted and the relevant committee will be notified.
Yeah, thank you very much. My catch, the catch here, 1.1 takabhadhara nanotech havana zvavakanga vaita, kubiogas takabhadhara havana zvavakanga, kwese tinotanga tabhadhara. Now this is the different scenario yekubandobva kusina mvura, ati ndokupai mvura musati mabhadhara chete. To me, it is sufficient. Cannot go for 3 months. So we gave nanotech 1.1 million before they supplied a drop of water. We gave that guy to 5 million. But this guy comes. Where Bulgarian and Pandira butter bucket remfra. Renata would watch 29 what in don't buy for free? I will take it. Canada Buta, we end all those things.
May you assist your shirt to get into the town?
Thank you very much. So, Your Worship, in light of that, and, because they are still on those, I would support that if these guys can give us water, why don't they go inside and provide us water?
Look, it's a very simple process. That is why an MOU is put in place. An MOU is put in place to check all these things we are talking about without us turning this meeting into a preaching session on facts that are not even supported by the originator. Our process is very simple. Your committee or your committees recommend that an MOU be put. An MOU, there are many MOUs that don't end up. We look at the 4 corners of the MOU. Who have you entered it with? What is it intending to do? What is the council obligation? Where, and so forth and so forth, is documented. Then we comment on the MOU. If the identity is the same, the MOU will reveal that because there's a feasibility period and a study, and it can be referred to other stakeholders who might have an interest, who then warn us that your MOU doesn't work for this reason and that reason. So that's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
But we can't have this debate at this stage without the facts. Authorize an MOU. The MOU is entered. And we go forward. If this all is hot air, it will reveal itself that this is hot air. If it is practical, then we move on, isn't it?
Yes.
Thank you. Yapen, did you have an issue on another issue?
Yeah, my issue on the issues. Okay, what time Kambo is about issues, I know it doesn't take 1 month in discuss. So my issue there would maybe for the next term, any issue who comment, any other comment, and I find any business, maybe 1 or 7 minutes or failure, 7 minutes, deliberate. So that was the chairman. What I said is okay. It is better than I so that my Ingo not work. In my name is Kenya in the University of HR. You can have take a proper, in a minute, take a paper. In a HR. You can have and the same mouth to numerous, but as when you have enough HR, one efficient, sometimes no happening before.
Yeah, okay, no, that's fine. And also, the reason why I allowed of this session was because council was being arrested on things that it never did. So now, everything that I say, I can play a recording, and that is there. And I think that our committee recordings, we should come with improvements. I don't know who is head of committees. Best practices somewhere. Cherokot Jai one is some record, one of our panel must speak and these things are a dime in a dozen in China. Chatoko nice storage space. Committee to guide any record, in a computer by record us. One hope they are being what was debated in the committee.
Yeah.
Because you know the people are being arranged to court you unoshika kukoti the committee yako yakadaiso. Automuzisha katika Mungu. Committee shikade yako yakuzona matamdengo kutakasumba. The guy came late, no bagara passage tina matiri. No bana mata. Pakusunga committee yose yakodi. Unakosunga lokutanganya wazali please. So some of these things I think we need to remove with time and improve our areas of record. You must remember, ladies, unlike Parliament, our council does not have a parliamentary immunities and privileges act and that's why I'm saying, and I'm trying to manage what you say about other people. In this council, you will be sued in your personal capacity. For a parliamentarian can come up and just make accusations because they are governed by the parliamentary immunities and privileges act. So when you discuss with people and the issues, and maybe they give you information, unlike Parliament, just don't come and parrot that information. You will be liable both civilly and criminally for the statements that you make in this chamber. So this chamber, we have to be very careful about what we say and who we say about organizations and people, because we are putting these things live out there, and it might come up and cause problems for yourself once you make accusations that you might have been given by a stakeholder out there. So that's why I'm trying to constrain the debate so that we debate issues that came from the minutes and comment on that. If issue has to be dealt with in detail, you can always ask it to be referred back to committee and discuss it instead of making accusations against people in a chamber live on media platforms.
Recommendations under item 8. Agreed item 9. Agreed minutes dated 23 April. Resolutions 1 to 2 issues.
Also, as it says,
On minutes, I think on the 17th of April, agenda item number 5, which is about the service delivery report. I've been sent by residents from 141 report for me to state their displeasure on non-delivery in our ward. I'll give an example of the water reports that we get. That in a week we can get water delivery maybe for 1 day a week. And we've got 13 servers in 141. I'm going to mention them. And Emerald Hill, Ashburton, Avonlea, Marlborough, West, Good Hope, Timor North, Red Roofs, New Ardeen, and Willow Creek. But when council then does the distribution of water, it just says that it's distributed to 141. And we would have distributed to one of these servers, leaving the 12 other servers dry. So this is the same as well as refuse collection, where the residents are being billed for 2 collections a month. But at times, a whole month can actually go without any refuse being collected. And the residents of Ward 41 have said, I think we have taken, I can continue?
yes, you can continue.
They say that, we have been understanding of the situation of council for far too long, and they feel that they've been taken for granted. And what they then asked me to come here and say in this council chambers is that they say, we are not going to pay for council rates if we're not going to get service delivery. So they have actually said, service delivery, 0 payment. Because I think most of the times, if you look at the payments that are done at our district offices, you see that Marlborough is on one of the highest district offices in terms of revenue collection. But then the services are then prioritized for the high density areas, and the low density areas are then left to fend for themselves. So something needs to be done. I just felt that I needed to bring this message that the residents can say, so when you see them not paying their bills, this is the reason. In 2022, 400 residents in Blackfield went and they took pictures of their meters, they took their statements. I submitted them to Engineer Msikawan, who was the acting town clerk at that moment. And since last year, he has been sitting on these documents. I've been trying to call him. He has stopped picking up my calls. And then you really then wonder that as an engineer, they say that councillors were uneducated. But then when you see a whole engineer, I told her, then you really wonder what you would do. So I feel pretty one, your issue at my residents, and then I would also want to forward your issue Blacko to the HR committee so that they can look into what happened with the petitions for these 400 residents of Blacko who are being charged by council but not getting any service in terms of water delivery.
That's the comment there on issues of water. I think we have a report on water and refuse collection. And I mentioned it in my opening remarks that we are concerned about the level of water. I know I knew this was going to happen. There was something that I was afraid to not go because we had developed a rhythm in the water situation at that time. Yes, but we then brought back you should advise the residents.
Same one.
It was almost yeah. You then now what I said was going to happen is happening.
Yeah.
It is happening. And I said we said how in the world that people convince us in one beginning that these people are not competent. Fast forward 4 years later, the same quartet comes back with different recommendations. I mean, how, and then we are now where we are. We are playing a human, snakes and ladders, human resource approach. You go this way, then you go into a big snake and you are back. There's only one who has acquitted himself, the one in charge of sewer. The one who came back in sewer. I must say, is very responsible. Others, they sleep. You send a message, they will come to you tomorrow morning. And you send the message at 10 p.m. How someone can sleep when people don't have water? It's just they don't answer the phone calls, they don't respond to messages. You send it at night, it is responded to at 9 tomorrow, and so forth, except for that one person who is doing the repairs for the soul. But this is what we say.
Yeah, thank you very much for raising that issue. I think we need to come up with a solution to this, especially traditional race everything. Some of these people were it's very true. Because before that, the most happening thing by people they don't answer their phone, or sometimes they are very rude. They think it's happening, there are some people who are sitting around touching. Yes, the whole what is the whole shape of the location of the town. Like as you speak right now, Sunday, Green Fork, Sedosa, all these other areas, one completely 4 weeks without a drop of water. But about going to bread everyone is good. I'm going to get that about 2, 3, 4, 5. It's not going to go over. And I have a proper explanation.
The same thing is that the director owned us. I owned the council. I owned our colleagues, Nature, Papa Pansi was there. We owned it. And, look at where we are.
I was happy to listen.
I just want to know it's my right. I want to make the record straight. When that issue was done, I was not the chair. I was one person who was against the whole committee. So I wanted to make it so. No. Remember, you
I just came into the office and I only chaired 3 meetings.
Mention your members.
I only chaired 3 meetings. I mean 2 meetings. The third one, I was told already I was in the chamber. I mean doing some focus with the committee, and I was told that that meeting is cancelled without even my consent. That's when I was fired from the committee. So I only chaired 2 meetings. So in those 2 meetings, I was a chairman. If they want to tell the truth, I was against up to now, that resolution, I'm against it. But of course, the majority carries the day.
But the most dangerous part here was taken longer. They put in with HR 140. And then in 140, one also Bob blame me with the white. Can I see about HR? He knows where that will come. One way of no, where the power of home. Who can't have a better decision? But I don't want to get that. And I didn't know. When I get my store, it's not in to resolve. So that who can't have a resolve in the air collective. Even committee chair, I didn't resolve in the air collective. But I also agree in the worship.
Next item.
Let's finish EMC. We will discuss the other issues. The chairperson advised me that she's writing exams to which she will. Let's not mention names. That's what I was saying earlier. Let's not mention names. Let's say what we were simply advised, and which advice was not taken, was that we knew why I was saying that to Councillor from 141, she is well aware of the debate that we had on that issue.
And we agreed.
Yeah?
And we agreed.
Yes, and what happened?
Councillor Gadswood and his colleagues.
So, let's move. But I'm just saying that there's no debate on this one. We can always debate other issues on other reports because they are cross-cutting. We just want the chair to be able to leave knowing that the items are through. So there are no issues on. So allow the chamber secretary to do the reading of these items so that we finish, then we go back to our debate.
Your Worship, I did not mention the 1 year 25 April, because I think Tantau Council discussed it 25 April. 23 April, sorry. So I can okay. Thank you very much, Your Worship, once again. I just want to take us to item number 3, Yakanzi Geo Pomona expression of interest in solid waste. I've been receiving calls. I don't know, maybe it was because I was former HRHA. I don't know why they continue asking me for clarifications on matters. But employees in the Waste Management Division have been riddled with fear. You know, there have been rumors going around that, you know, the whole department is going to be taken over by Geo Pomona. And they've been asking, and I said, no, the issue is on the minutes. on the agenda of full council, maybe then we can be able to discuss and understand exactly what is happening with this Geopomona debate. Because as I understand, previously, the same council made a resolution that they were refusing the partnership with Geopomona. And I remember that there was even a special task force committee that I and Councillor Duma were in, you know, where we also then did our own deliberations, and then those were taken up to the minister. So clarification on this issue of Geopomona is really critical, and I would want maybe the town clerk or the chairperson of EMC to take us through so that we can understand what this report is all about. It says the committee just brought it to full council. That is all they did.
It wasn't discussed. So what can happen is, because there's no resolution to that report, I believe that that issue has to be brought back either to a joint committee that report has to be brought back to a joint committee of HR, EMC, and finance. They are the three committees that can ventilate it in few. Because from my reading of the minutes, there was really nothing that our council was being asked to discuss at this stage. So if that report can be placed before those committees so that they can discuss, taking into account.
Yeah, especially just highlighting the concerns of the employees from the Waste Management Division.
Okay, maybe I'll start from where my Councillor Kadzombe. I would like to start with the initial agenda going on an agenda on the committee of EMC, and to say I was surprised to be invited to my own wedding. Yep. I did not even know that that agenda was put there. I was simply told that Cecilia, tomorrow there's a wedding, you have to wear a gown and you have to come. When I wanted to come to the wedding and I was calling the group, he was not even picking. I tried to I called the group 4 times, the group was not No.
What I wanted to do, I was answering the chairperson.
Okay.
What I wanted us to do, so that we don't have to go back to the chronology.
The reason why I'm going back is, as stated by Councillor Kadzombe, there are so many workers out there who want to actually hit me and think I want to make them lose their jobs. I have to clarify how it happened from the beginning. Ndakakopa kumchato wangu ndisingazeni kufana kuchata murume wacho ndakumfonera ngasikadaire foni kafoke kuti ndibvunzo ndinai muchato uyu wakazorongwa ari ndipo takazodana naye
I'm now helping you. Can you sit? Can everyone sit down? No, wait. Don't worry about it.
So we did not sit down. Then when we said we wanted the special meeting, but I'm not doing weddings. Allow us to sit.
It's okay.
What the chairman is saying, can the item be brought back to committee?
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
Atangizisa mabvisa vanhu zuva rose wiki
The neighbor said, look here.
tisinambosvikapo
Yeah, all right.
atangizisa
Fine. Since the committee.
Yep.
Okay, let me.
solar power.
All right. They allay the fears of the workers at this point in time. There is no department that has been moved, nor anyone who is losing their job. This item has not been discussed. The town clerk will take it back if need be, and I underline, if need be, that it be brought back
it will be discussed by us, and we will see whether it is relevant. If it were to come back, it will be discussed by all the committees and not one committee. But I underline if need be, because there are further discussions that I had with the previous minister and that I will have with the current minister that will then make us maybe reach to some understanding. So I don't want this issue, Councillor.
Sorry, Your Worship. What happens is you previously spoke about a statement of fact, right? So in this report, it is written that the Director of Works led the committee through his report. He reported that Council had concluded a joint venture concession agreement with GeoPomona for the management of Pomona dam site for a period of 30 years, and that Council had ended Pomona dam site in April 2022. Is that a statement of fact or what? That's my question.
No, it's not a statement. That whole item is going back to committee. It's going back to. Let it go back to committee. Let's not put pressure on the council until it's clear as to what needs to be done. Okay. It has to go back with all the things that it has in that area. If it then comes back, then we take it up from there. But as we stand, the status quo ante prevails. But I hasten to add, the waste management department is not the only department that is under threat for non-performance. The whole council is under threat for non-performance. It is no point for the workers to come and cry for assistance from the councillors when the departments that they are manning and they are superintending over are not doing their work. We must, when we say collect your waste, provide water, clean the roads, do this and do that, we mean exactly that. The whole country will not sit aside while this work is not happening and then expect them to protect our jobs. Even my job as the mayor, his job as town clerk, his job as chamber secretary, and the collective jobs is always under threat if we are not delivering on what we are supposed to deliver. So the issue is deliver. Then we will not have all these discussions. We cannot show our dexterity in speaking in council when our dexterity is needed by us just doing the job we are supposed to do. And we won't have this discussion. Period. Because the water situation cannot be allowed to remain as it is. The refuse situation cannot be allowed to remain as it is. The planning situation cannot be allowed. We cannot continue with the council which brings a report to council that you cannot service 41 stands. Stands that can be serviced by an individual out of his own pocket. But you've got item 1 to item 15 of a council report saying our Department of Works cannot service 100 stands, cannot service 50 stands. Do you think that situation will be allowed to continue? When we know people who are subdividing their own farms and they are putting tarred road, they are putting water. Tatu watu wajise isusu. Isusu toya munomu. Turugunzi discuss kuti ipai one unserviced land because tatadza kuisa ma services on 4 stands. Tatadza kuisa ma services on 5 stands. It's just ludicrous. And then someone knows where out know to council ability yokupa ma stands. Mautanga kulizabe. Hey, department redu, hey, department rakati, hey, housing. But you reports, you've got 100 reports that are coming in your committee saying 40 stands cannot be serviced, 5 stands cannot be serviced. Things that can be done in 72 hours by somebody. Are an individual. Ato zaro utazviite department replanning. Ramnyorera tsamba kuti chinhu chenyu chatichaapuruvhika musina kugadzira chakati nechakati. But isusu vacho vanonyora izvozvo, we are comfortable taking a report yokuti council yatadza kudhova yatadza kuchera mugero nekugadzira mugwagwa pamastands 70. So it's problematic. So let's do our work and we will not have this discussion. chete. If you've got 20 stands, isai grader, beko chakuti yochera, toisa PVC, toiconnecta uku, tovhara, toisa road, toisa kata, tototengesa mastands. Zvotopera. But techikuitirana naro nekuti tiri kutadza kuita service delivery on just a few stands. It's not practical. Zvakuda kutorwa taakuchema kuti zvakuda kutorerwa. Let's finish. You want to say something?
Yes, on the 2nd of May, it's only I can't hear what the chamber secretary is saying.
Oh, you can't hear?
Tapa 2nd May at AMC.
Right, after the 2nd May. Resolutions 1 to 5, any issues?
Yes.
Oh no, that is on item 6.
Oh, now we on recommendations under item 6.
Yes, thank you very much, Worship. As I said, I'm on item number 6, donation of beasts to national events and disaster victims. I feel the issue about giving for my disaster victims is justified, but I'm just thinking about our role in donating our cows for national events. But where did we have a resolution of council that approved this? Or because I already see that there were some cows that were donated for my independence celebrations, you know. So Ndongo was standing here as council. Is this something that we resolve as council, that pakaita ma national events, tukutora mombe zedu tichiuraya for those national events? Maybe tikakwanisa ungopiwo an explanation.
Yeah, also to add, ndikona pa item 6 papo pakanzi donated 2 beasts to assist residents who have been displaced by floods in January 2024. Obviously, this one maybe you might be good.
Yes.
Yeah, but as well as 1 beast at a national event in Mbare to feed the people who are coming from different areas. So my point is, it's not even clear. Kuti event here. Any moment the country you worship, but think she to the donate and it. In moment the country would since Ndaga join a Harare before the council, but the council 3,000. And as it changes, about why, but as number 3% per same level. But my question is on donation. Could you know the national event? Event, I say. I also understand your worship, could you know a donation policy? I still remember with that policy, a donation. But to donate Mombe, to donate Mombe in line with that policy. So that is really also beneficial to my residents.
Yeah, well, the residents, not wait round of good my residents.
Not wait round.
What we can do, we found it as a tradition of this council, that at independence, at
clear, independent.
No, wait, let me explain. Your question is in 2 parts.
Yeah.
Okay, it's not a cross-examination in court. They are not my cows. And so forth. No, did I say my family donated the cows? I want to explain the 2-part question and answering the councillor 1 and then councillor 2. It's been a tradition that on national events, if a request comes, the request is acceded to. So the national request, the request can come at independence and the Euros. It's always been a tradition since time immemorial. Unless if you are suggesting that you feel it's no longer necessary to continue with that tradition. It's always been our tradition. At independence, we contribute not only cows, we actually contribute a lot of things. Money, facilities, fuel, trucks, and the least expensive of all the donations that we do in those events is actually the cow. And the time of our workers. You will notice that if the president or the first lady or some minister or visitor is going to visit a place where you see that they are going to celebrate the opening of this and that, they are going to do that, you might find that we will prepare the tar we will prepare the roads, we will do the things that we were supposed to do as a council anyway. But because maybe for reasons that we've all been discussing, those areas are not spruced up, we end up being called to spruce them up. Part of it is to assist us. You know, can you imagine? Some of the people will be doing us a favor. Can you imagine someone knows that they are taking a whole president at a certain area, and there is a portal that developed 3 days ago, and they don't phone us to tell us that, hey, gentlemen, pane munhu achapfuura nepapi nepanapo ongoenda. We might end up asking them kuti nai vakomana veprotocol, kana imi mai mune diary mairegere kutiudza tifano tagadzira chi portal iri. So I think it's a symbiotic relationship that we have with national events in the city, because there are certain things that we have to do and that only get done. Sometimes even our workers become more incentivized when VIPs are visiting a place than when we tell them to do their job. So it's a mixture of many things. But needless to say that I do not see any issues with us contributing to the Independence Day at that, with that scope, or if there's a disaster, giving the town clerk leeway to be able to respond. In any event, everyone was blaming us because we planted the stands in the middle of a river. Literally, a child was taken away because we gave them stands in the middle of a river, and we didn't do the landscaping to protect those families should the water take them away. People were being taken away while they were sleeping, clinging to grasses and so forth. And we felt that when they had been uplifted and put in a place, there was nothing amiss in us donating a car. And then the event you are talking about was the First Lady's event, where they were taking care of orphanages, and where she has assisted us in revamping Mbare, what is it? Netball complex. And that event, they were calling they were showcasing the renovations that had been done, and the street kids that were being kept again, which is part of our duties to be able to take care of street kids that are in our city. And that is where a cow, I'm told, was donated. But if you have problems with that, you can raise it.
I thought I was standing up.
I'm just finishing the question.
Yes, you Mama did not get
Okay.
that for me to.
Yeah.
No, I also am for supporting the independence celebrations, because I'm also one who's, who appreciates the efforts that were done. But I think when you actually then were explaining, you actually gave this council more information than what is on the report. All I would have just wanted was maybe a report that states the national events that are done every year that we contribute to, so that the council can then know that, maybe during the year we make donations of 50 cows, or we make a donation for 10 events, than leaving it hanging as it is. It was just basically for issues to do with accountability, of those activities. That was my request.
That is why we were accounting.
You are counting?
Yes.
When?
You said it was issues of accountability.
Yes.
So we are accounting.
As in me and you as the councillors, or?
Yes, we are accounting as a council.
Yes.
The council is us, you included. So when you raise the question, you want us to account to the residents.
Yeah, that is correct.
That is
because I've
why-
never seen a report like this, because I'm one who goes through reports each and every time, and I've never seen. So I was just requesting, if it's not too much to ask, for just a calendar of events.
Let's put it on record.
Yeah.
On national events, we contribute in many ways than one. If they are being held within the city of Harare, there is a legitimate expectation.
Which I understand
that
fully.
we prepare. And so we have continued with that tradition, and it will continue sometime, unless if someone has abused that tradition. But 1 cow, 2 cows is less than what people pay for Lobola, and surely we should pay more.
The more national events over the year, Your Worship, please don't ridicule what I'm saying.
I'm not ridiculing.
Yeah, because the more events, I was just asking for a calendar that states that council partners on these national events, so that the report just comes through and then it's on record, and then that's it. Yeah, that's all I was just asking.
Your worship, yange nyaya nechekuita ne your worship, ishango.
We are spending.
Madly clarify.
It's okay. It's okay. Can you sit down? I think we have spent too much time on 1 cow and 2 cows. We need to focus back on service delivery, and especially some of these small things, they end up raising emotions that are unnecessary.
Yeah.
We as a council will continue with the tradition of contributing to national events. We will continue donating as and when we feel that there's a disaster. We've already created a committee for disaster. The chairperson of disaster management was there when we donated these things in Budiriro. So we will continue doing so. Let's move on to that item.
Yes. Let's move, Your Worship. We have 20 items. We've only dealt with 3. So if we could move faster. Minutes dated 13 May 2024. Resolutions 1 to 4. There are no issues. There are no recommendations on that set of minutes. We proceed.
On EMC.
Yeah, thank you very much. I do not take much time. Then I will not, we made an observation from the 17th, 23 to 9 and 18 May. On item, either item number 3 or item number 4. You know, we'll put issue. So I wanted to re-emphasize Katata Mupesa by Chaputia. Many of my reports are better. See a chronology. You put a report and request from Sokata and Apuya, because we have Swase. And so I wanted it to be clear and clarity, which is what you have said on the 17th of April. Patati Paya. These guys, Bama, Vasarageza, who capture issue, put on without Pamura, not Pemura. Vasarageza will capture that. Why is that? Thank you very much.
They do a number of and then we look at exactly, you can't keep debating an issue. Give it a framework. Kana isingabudiriri inotadza kubudirira mwemoyo iko ukachibudirira inobudirira, because you end up accusing each other of things that are not true if you don't get.
So I wanted that to be captured by those who are.
All right, no, it's fine. It's been captured. Let's move.
Annexure F, Education, Health, Housing, Community Services and Licensing. Made on the 16th of April 2024. Councillor Bidimo, you want to report on it?
Thank you so much.
Were you not there? You've moved?
No.
Or you were? Or you assumed that?
Okay.
There was someone I thought looked like you. Yeah. You are slightly the more handsome version.
Before I report and move, I want to take item number 41 back to commit. Before I report and move. Item number 41, I'm referring back to commit for further consultation. Thank you. I report and move.
Thank you, Chair. Resolutions 1 to 24, any issues? There are no issues. We go back to recommendations under item 25. Agreed 26. Agreed 27. Agreed 28. Agreed 29. Agreed 30. Agreed 31. Agreed 32. Agreed 33. Agreed 34. Agreed 35. Agreed 36. Agreed 37. Agreed 38. Agreed 39. Agreed lastly 40. With the exception of that item 41 that is taken back to committee. So we're done with education and housing.
So education and housing, chairperson, that your committee is the one I was referring to, that planning a committee and works, you need to sit down and come up with a threshold of stands that we say we are unable to provide services. Because I think it was a golden era of that time. I know it was useful for councillors and other people, but I think we are beyond that.
Yeah, you said it well, Your Worship, and I'm on the same page with you.
Yes. Let's create a unit that is able to do that, or if not, let's look at banks and other developers that can develop in quick time some of these small pieces of land, so that we give them out if possible, some of them, we should give them out as houses rather than right now we are fighting for houses that were built by other people in the long term. Right now, private developers, they come, they develop your stand, they tell you that they will do 12 houses and they will leave you with 2 houses. Yeah. Our negotiations with the developers are rudimentary. Someone can say, let me build 600 houses and I'll give council 200 houses. I think those are the debates that we expect in the committee, not these debates of unserviced land. Someone says, if I build 20 houses here, I'm able to give council 10 houses. And it's better. These are the negotiations that the councils have. You know, like the one we had with those floods, and we need to finish the negotiations. The floods in Adben. If we had said Wenera. If we had said they build the block of flats, they've built over 15 there, and they give council 2, it would have made more sense.
We don't have a single block.
Yes, but we own 70% of the land and 30%. I saw they are building 2 extra blocks. I think someone should just go and say these 2 extra blocks are now ours.
This is better.
It's better because we own 30% of that company. So that's a better negotiation. So that toisa my residents never shandy muma flats aya. You could discuss some unserviced lands, but must stand 10. It's just a waste of everyone's time and a sheer negligence and dereliction of duty.
But ndakanzwa ihoshi pawenera baba 30% ya nazo nitakapoa ile mali. But mali yake I'm told uti ukai evaluate currently could be less than 3,000 US.
I know I've negotiated with those people. It's not like that. It's just that someone is not negotiating. The 30%, 70%, there are things that they want from us on that thing because they don't have certain permissions. All we need to do is to just renegotiate, give them the permissions on the basis that they give us 2 blocks of land. Period.
So we could now proceed to HR.
You wanted to say something, Councillor, behind the
Yes. I just want to appreciate the Housing Committee, the item 41.